Watching, good meetings might be a little bit more
We should have the
rambunctious.
milers
City-
2 mile ago.
after the city gets
Our sprint
some
relays
stuff, sometimes they might
right on
get-
the
Ours
bubble.
is pretty low
And then a
key.
couple long jumpers right on the bubble.
Okay,
So,
well, awesome.
and maybe a pole vaulter.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we will call the meeting to order. Pryor Creek Rec Center Board Meeting, regular meeting, Thursday, May the 8th, 2025, 5:30. Time now is 5:35. We do have a quorum. Item 1, call meeting to order. Item number 2, petitions from the audience. We have such a large audience here, not all at once.
They're all
Not
watching
at once. Okay, thank you. Item number 3, discuss possible approve the minutes of April 10th, 2025 meeting. Those have been provided for you. If there's not any discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Knopfinger,
Second.
second by Cook. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 4, discuss possible recommended council action to surplus the Petcor ATM 100 ID number 04363. By the way, that was my idea to ID all of those things.
Yeah, that's good, so we got some,
Purchased a long, long time ago, back in 2012.
yeah,
Purchased the 2010 for disposal.
yeah.
So when you say purchased in 2000, for disposal, okay.
Yeah.
Is that a
So,
treadmill?
no, it's a adaptive trainer. You stand on it and you kind of move your leg back
I
and
see.
forth like this, and it's kind of like elliptical, but it's not.
Right.
It doesn't go around, it goes back and forth. And it's about the third machine in. When you walk down the steps, there's a small stair stepper and the big stair stepper, and then that thing.
Okay.
And it's in tough shape. It's got duct tape on it, and the grease is leaking out of where there's some hinge there, and the plastic's decaying, and yeah, it's just, and it all started kind of because we need new space for the stair climber. It's coming next week, and really we're kind of full, and so that's one that we've been talking about previously, about maybe it needs to go. So I think it's time.
Yeah.
So when you say disposal, what does happen to it?
Well, we can put it out there. We can,
Side of the road?
side of the road. We can take it to the dump.
It'll be gone in 2
Somebody
seconds.
wants to take it.
I just wondered almost if someone would end up, if it was somewhere someone could take it and maybe
Well,
get some use out of it, I
yeah.
don't know.
Well, so.
Or would that be a liability piece?
Because Dick Holmes is about the only guy that I saw. He's about the only guy that uses it.
He is on that a lot.
Yeah.
Gift it to him.
And so I told him I kind of,
Former director, so
yeah. And so I said,
we'd like to award you
we're
a
going
2010
to,
Petcor.
Probably put most of the miles on this.
so
Dick,
otherwise,
if you're listening.
yep. So yeah, otherwise I'd just probably have Gary come pick it up, take it
Okay.
to the dump,
Yeah.
because it's just of no use. So anyway,
Any objections or conversations?
No.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to get rid of it.
Motion made by Kemp,
Second.
second by Knopfinger. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 5, Mr. Director's report.
okay. So facilities and maintenance. So we repaired the mirrors. We got that done. I'm waiting on a quote to do something with the above part. Where the blobs of glue are there. So I'm waiting on that. Probably to the guy I talked to, that like that grease board material, on a grease board. He thought he could take that and put that across there and make it look pretty nice, and he wouldn't have to. He said he could do it probably without moving any of the equipment and stuff, which is a big pain. The other option would be do something like going in and scraping all that off, but the mess that it would make, I think, and then if you mudded it to fix it, but I haven't got a price, so we'll see what kind of price we get, but I'm waiting on that part. We got our quarterly HVAC stuff done. Got her floors waxed last weekend or 2 weekends ago.
That looks really
Yeah, they look
nice.
really good.
Yeah, I thought they did a nice job. We had a leak on some of the plumbing for the pool heater on the outside of the building, so we came and fixed that since last time. And then, the next sheet in your packet is this utility comparison. And so I was looking at this the other day because I've been looking at our utility bills and they're high. And I think they were unusually high to me. So I went down to MUB and I got all the info and so I put it on this sheet. And I don't know if you can make hide nor hair of this, but what I did is I did it for last fiscal year and then the fiscal year that we're in. And W-E-G stands for water, electric, and gas. So that column is the total, right? Then I separated the gas, and when I did that, if you'll look in fiscal 24 and 25, and go down to December,
Wow.
and I highlighted that, and the gas usage is more than double. And so, that, of course, my wheels start spinning. Well, anyway, we've got 4 valves leaking on the roof. And then there was I called MUB, and they came out and checked it, and they found a pipe that had been capped, and that was leaking, but they didn't get into the unit, so I called Jayco. They came, and they discovered there's 4 valves on top of the building that are leaking. So they're scheduled to come tomorrow to fix that. And I'm guessing we've probably got some rate increases too. I don't know. I didn't get any information on that yet.
Probably not 123%.
No, not 123%, exactly.
Wow.
So that's what's going on the gas side. Now on the electric side, and I broke that out, you can see on the far right, the 2 years comparison, fiscal 24 and 25. And you can see that our electric bill is 30% higher, but we just got finished putting in LED lights.
Yeah.
Unlike the HVAC systems, they fluctuate with the heat and the temperature, right? The lights don't. We turn them on in the morning, we turn them off at night. There's no more usage, based on the weather. It's just our hours of operation. So,
Is it because the rates have went up?
well, that's what I'm wondering.
Because they have went up.
Yeah. But, so
That's
they've
a
gone,
lot.
so basically 30. Our bills.
What's the cities? I mean, I don't know if you've dug into what cities is.
Yeah, no, I really haven't.
New build
Yeah.
is usually, you talking about this building or altogether?
Well, probably, I don't know.
Altogether is about 32,000 a month.
Yeah.
But has that drastically increased over last year?
So it has gone up. There's been some increases the last 4 or 5 months, and then we noticed this month was down about 27,000. So it's come down a little bit. That's a very rounded number, but I think if you live in town, you've also seen it at your home. Prices have come down. Like our utility bill was almost half this month versus the last several months. So,
I mean, there's a,
And this is through, your calculations are through February.
yeah, for this year.
So it'd be interesting to see what it looks like based off what the mayor just told us over
and
the
I
next
kind of,
couple
I
of months.
sign those POs, I go through and I flip through every department's, every property's utility bills to kind of make sure they're good. And there's been some that were higher for the rec. We talked about that a little bit a few months ago, but
So last year I budgeted 196,000 in utilities, which was way high, so
Let me ask you this. That one unit that we're just constantly running up there as a fan to circulate air, is it on all the time?
yeah.
Would that not
could-
be, because it
well,
puts the control to go on and off, but with that
Right,
one running?
that one's running all the time. That could be a portion of this, I would say, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Which one?
Well, we had 2 units on top of the pool, so we took one of them out completely. We left one as a fan, basically,
Right.
to help circulate, and that one's running constant, yeah,
So if it's running all day, all night, and
Yeah.
there could be
yeah,
room in this number for
For
a
that.
portion of that.
yeah.
I don't know that it's
That's-
the full 30%,
Right.
but it's,
Well, and the other might be the rate hikes.
and then rate hikes. So it'd be interesting to see what it would look like based off what the mayor just said over these last couple of
Yeah.
months.
Well, and I haven't got it yet. I was gonna call MUB and see if I could if they've got some sort of schedule of their increases, just so we know. But, and I'll do that. But yeah, I started looking, because I was looking at our utility bills and on our budget. So we've spent about 120 some, well, what's this, through?
127.
Yeah, 127 through March, and we got 4 months left, so we had 150. We had 150 budgeted.
For utilities, and we're at 127?
Yeah, so we're barely. I think we'll make it, but it's going to be close, you know. But we had 1 month where utility.
Going in the morning, the lights are off while we're working.
Yeah, exactly. Bring your flashlight.
You're gonna
Put that on
laugh, but
Facebook.
whenever I see a
Pickleball in
light
the
on,
dark.
Yeah, yeah.
I flip it off.
Well, the gas did take a huge jump though, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So we'll and Seth, I think, is going to be here tomorrow. I'll talk to him about that. I'll confirm, but I'm pretty sure that one unit's running constant, because we don't. I don't think it's regulated with a thermostat right now.
Well, I for one appreciate you
Oh, yeah.
digging into this, because
Yes.
sometimes it takes due diligence and research to find out what's going on.
Well, I just, looking at the budget, the numbers all the time, just trying to keep an eye on things as best we can, so.
Because you kind of think that the electric's going to be pretty constant.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what that puzzles me, but,
Yeah,
I was hoping for less.
definitely. Not more, huh?
Yeah. So, okay, so that's the skinny on that. I don't know, we've done a few small things, we put some kick plates on some of the wooden doors where they were chipping and things to kind of protect them. We put some door sweeps on to help keep the bugs out of the pool and things like that. So hopefully some of that stuff will help us as time goes on. So on the financials, so if you go to that, your first page on the financials is the revenue expenses official. And we've got official information through February. And then March. Oh, this is the official one, yeah. So this is the official, so it's just through February. And so that's just, you can see kind of where we're at. We're tracking. February, we paid $100,000. That was our big expense month. We paid the balance of the HVAC unit, so that was one reason why our expenses were $185,000, I believe. They were high that month. Where was it? $167,000. I'm sorry. So, and I'll get to it, but we have some money that we're owed to cover some of our shortfalls in the end here. But that's the official. It's not. There's a couple of discrepancies in it. We're off about $100 on the math, and I'll be getting with once. Hannah gets free, I'll sit down with her. I've already given her some information. The other thing I checked on too was that sales tax business, because if you look at the one of these, now it's gone up to 288%. So that's through February. So let's see, where's that? Well, I'm sorry. That's January. Yeah, February.
242.9.
Yeah, that's January. If you go to get your February statement out, which would be the most recent official one,
288.
288. So I've given her some documents to use to research. So I haven't heard back from that one yet, but we will. You can also see the utilities. We're going back to that a little bit. Through February, we spent $96,000, and with 53 left, and at that point,
That makes sense.
Pardon me?
This doesn't make sense.
What's that? Which?
Sales tax.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what that is, because again, that's the tax that we get charged, because we get we send in an amount from all of our sales, which is basically our memberships. All right. Well, our memberships haven't gone up 288%.
What's
So-
your thoughts on that?
It's saying you've collected $18,751.99.
Well,
That's what you've submitted in sales tax?
No, that's what we've been charged. But well, you could say that, yes, because we charge an amount and the sales tax is built in there. when the sales are made and through our GL and it comes through here, then they assess the tax to
Well,
us.
it's pretty easy. We should be able to go to the revenue of the things that are sold, that you collect sales tax on.
It'd be memberships.
So that's 142,000, and it should be times 9.875.
So.
That should be your
10%.
sales tax.
Yeah, 10% would be 14,000, so, yeah, 9% would be, it still wouldn't be
It's-
18,000.
Yeah, so I don't know what that is wrong.
Yeah,
Well, and plus, like on your merchandise sales, that should be in there. You charge sales tax on merchandise, or you
yeah,
should.
yeah, we build that in there, yeah, we do.
So
So that's,
that's another $14,818.
The thing that's puzzling though is last year, it was a fraction of that. You know, I can't remember, it was like 8 grand for the whole year. So I don't know if maybe, if it got missed last year possibly. But anyway, Hannah's got the documents and stuff, and so she can,
you'll just keep us in.
yeah, once I get some answers, I'll be sharing them.
Because if it stays at that rate, we're gonna have to budget a heck of a lot.
Yeah, we'd have to go back. Well, last year I had, what do I have this year? 6,500. I think last year I had 20,000. But it was way low. You know, like I said, I think it was only like 65 or 8,500 last year. So, but yeah. So that's really the main, those two items on the financials in terms that are keeping an eye on that part anyway. Let's see. Get this, move this stuff out of the way. Okay, oh, then the next sheet would be the month to month. The monthly, official, unofficial. And this is, you know, what I've done, I've gone back as I've gotten the financial official, I've put that in there, but, which we only have through February, so March and April are unofficial numbers that we run, because just everything doesn't come through. Like we don't have, for instance, I noticed in January and February, we didn't get any interest. And we've got a CD that I believe is paying us a little over $1,000, but it's not showing up in the financials. So that's on my list to talk to. I've got an email into Lori, because she kind of handles that stuff. If you look at the bottom line on that page, it's 58,143 in the red, right? So that's about the amount of money that's owed us. So I talked to Cherokee Nation today again.
They have not paid us?
No, and I sent, I've talked to him once a week for the last 3 weeks and sent an email, because we were at the end of April, well then we were in April, and so we're done with April, so I sent him a new number, which is around 48,000. And so it's a little over 48,000.
Listen, my whole thought with this is it was probably paid to us by ARPA money. The ARPA money's gone now, so how do you sustain this? How do you sustain it?
Well, Danny,
From ARPA.
when I talked to Danny today, he said, because I've been working with Kanan Duncan, and you know, he's the kind of the right-hand man of the chief, and because I sent them both an email 2 weeks ago with all the numbers and everything that needed to happen, and didn't hear anything, so I called Danny again today, because I'd called Danny previously to do that. So he was going to call him. He was headed somewhere, and he was going to call him this afternoon and call me back, and I have not heard from him yet. So, so they owe us almost 50 grand.
Well, I guess at what point do we?
Well, yeah.
I guess my question is what is our,
We need to see
what is the recourse for that? I mean,
Well, that's the other thing. They have, right now, we don't have a contract.
Shoot.
Is there,
Do we have an MOU or?
well, but it's expired. So when they were here back, when they were here back in, when they came and
Recovery.
rolled out the new system, the new plan, you know, to everybody, at that time, we were supposed to do the deal. And they said they would have them send it over to me, and I haven't gotten it yet. So that was one of the things that I talked to Danny about 3 weeks ago. I said, I'm still waiting on that MOU. So we're really technically probably under no obligation at this point. So,
So again, at what point do we decide that we're gonna?
yeah.
Well, I think we need to not to
Yeah.
say anything negative about anything in
No.
particular, but maybe we need to go to a different source within Cherokee Nation
Well-
to find out, maybe the treasurer.
Now we go to June,
Say,
to,
hey, is there a reason? I think first step is finding out if there's a reason we haven't got it.
Right.
You know, if they're on a delay or they got, let's tell us what it is, communication. So,
I can call,
Well,
Janice.
I'd like to think that I'll hear from Danny tomorrow, you know, so
I think
maybe
we
once
went
I,
from Danny by Monday, then we
yeah,
kind of escalated a little bit
Yeah.
at low key.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
so we've got that. We've got 6,000 coming from the high school, well, we got 7,200 coming from the high school for POM and PE classes. The cheer team owes us 1,050, and then we've got a couple thousand plus in interest that I think isn't showing up yet. So we're right at about 60,000, so that covers our shortfall, yeah, so. So just trying to bird dog all that and
Yeah.
stay on them, you know, so. So there's really nothing going sideways or kind of crazy, just that utility business was kind of the one thing that's kind of showed up that was, you know, a little bit concerning. As far as our bills, you know, on the single sheet here, the expense sheet that you get, the small one, that's got all, this is all the expenses. And again, this one's unofficial, this Katie tracks that, but it's all for POs. You know, repair and maintenance was 7,200, that was, you know, a little high. We had some push pedal pull stuff. $2,185 was for repair of the mirrors, so that's a third of that, basically. And then $1,250 to repair that heater, the pool heater, the plumbing on the pool heater. So that's, you know, almost 50%, 40% of that 7,200. That's really it, I guess. You know, nothing. You know, one thing, and I think I mentioned this last time, our lifeguard salaries, they're probably going to go outside the budget a little bit. I undershot that because when I turn it in May, the budget in May, the busy months haven't happened yet. You know, well, June is one of our busier months because we'll go to Family Swim actually at the end of May. May 28th this year is when Family Swim, which requires more lifeguards. So I'll adjust the budget accordingly moving forward. Plus, you know, we gave them a bump in pay. You know, we went to 15.
Yeah.
So that kind of accounts for that.
You know, that last meeting you talked about, was it the GRDA that had their safety
Oh,
things at the pool, and you were gonna have a conversation of some kind?
yeah, that's in there. They're giving us $1,000 to buy life jackets for that. So we got confirmation on that.
Okay.
So. Then the membership sheet, this one that has the blue stripe down the middle of it. We dipped just a little bit to 1,956 off of our 2,132 a month ago. But as I told council the other night, that's still 315 higher than a year ago this time. And we're using the same system now, you know, software-wise. So our numbers should be, you know,
Should be
pretty decent.
accurate.
Yeah, it should be accurate, yeah. And then the last sheet, of course, is the Cherokee Nation sheet. And you can kind of see the running tally a year ago and now. And then I've kept track of their funding. And this is what I send them. So they know exactly what's going on. So, and they see exactly what they've given us and all. And, you know, those numbers are strong. They dipped a little bit. They were 685 last month, but in March, now they were 575 in April, so that's still a pretty good number. So, let's see on financials.
So if this doesn't get renewed, then the members themselves are gonna be paying full price.
Yeah, they'll have to bump it up. Yeah, yeah,
We'll probably lose some there.
yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's a heck of a deal for them.
I'm with the mayor, it's like, let's find out why.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because when they came just a few months ago, they were very, very confident this was the path they wanted to go.
Oh, they're happy.
So I would imagine there's a glitch in the system somewhere.
Yeah.
So they're pretty good on their word.
Yeah,
Well, and they're really trying to do lots and more to invest in healthiness of the communities, you know, a lot of their commercials, a lot of things they're doing, I would
Oh, yeah.
think they'd wanna lose that.
Yeah,
Well, and even at the State of the Nations that they did a few weeks ago, that was one of the, they didn't specifically say Pryor Creek Rec Center, but
Right,
that they were partnering and investing in the health of their people through the use of local rec centers
Yes.
and things like that, so.
Yeah.
I don't imagine that there's much, I know, the awful nightmare that was last week, that the whole world had to report their ARPA funding, and everything was kinda on hold, everybody, you know, that all had to be reported last month, so, to that process. But, maybe it's something tied up with that, because they are transitioning from those ARPA funds to, I'm sure, regular healthcare funds. They've still got till, I believe they've still got till December 26th to get rid of theirs, so they've got another year.
yeah, I mean, I,
We'll just see what the problem is.
and every time I talk to Danny, I mean, because I think they realize, and I've mentioned it too, that they're getting a deal, you know, and he's excited, he says the chief's, you know, happy, I mean, so I've been, you know, trying to inundate him with the facts, you know, and show that, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, basically.
yep.
This last sheet is our day pass, you know, guest pass tally, so you can kind of see what's been going on there in the different areas. And we're, you know, overall, we're like 4.5% under budget overall, so, you know, that's good through February. And again, we haven't really done anything too crazy lately. In aquatics, we had 15 pool parties last month, 11 public, 4 private. I mentioned family swim will start on the 28th. We had 40 participants in the Easter egg hunt in April.
Nice.
You know, we had the Inola boat races came a couple weeks ago. We had Cleora Elementary School came and swam. We hosted New Life Ranch. They rented our facility for 2 days to do lifeguard certification. Jackie worked to make that happen, and we did. So we had 2 safety days, water safety days scheduled. One was last Thursday, the 1st, and we have one June 5th. The one on the 1st fell on its face. It didn't work. It didn't have any participation. So we've kind of regrouped on that to do a better job of marketing it, and I think Boys and Girls Club will come, and so we'll have. I think we'll have some folks next time. So we'll see how that goes, and like the jackets. So, and the goal on that is to take that and move it into the school system. And we've had a couple of conversations with Dr. Mueller and then the assistant superintendent, young lady, I can't remember her name right now. Only
Dr.
spoke-
Ballard.
What's her name?
Ballard.
Ballard, there you go. Yeah, I've spoken to her just one time. So that's it on that. You know, I left you all a newsletter. You got that. We added Instagram to our marketing. Jess has been over that. We're taking delivery on the stair climber on Tuesday in the morning. With 690 workers. We are going to host a summer basketball camp with Boys and Girls Club. It's something through them. It's a nonprofit that comes in. I'll put that on in July. We will be renewing the PHS physical education classes first half of the year because their facility won't be done, I guess, until then. And the other thing I talked to Danny about was the climbing wall, and he indicated they want it still. So, and we still need a board member. So, if anybody's that lives inside the city limits, that's the catch.
Does he? Barely.
And then we're going to do an active shooter drill, probably towards the end of the month. See how our system works.
Nice.
So, and then I don't know if I mentioned last time, or I think I did. You know, because I talked to Houston about some professional development, and probably bringing in Megan Edwards too from Northeast Tech. You know, to tag team that a little bit. So we got some young kids that are leaving us here when school's out, and we're going to be hiring 1 or 2. So we're going to try to get them on board, and get them involved in that. So, locker rooms. So, do y'all use the locker rooms? I don't think y'all use the locker rooms very much, do you? You kind of come in and go. Well, take some time if you would and kind of peruse the locker rooms, particularly the men's. Open the lockers, check the lockers out.
I'm getting rusty.
It's
All that moisture.
yeah, it's just it's getting really bad.
I noticed it the other day.
And I had Robert clean in the family, the men's side family one, restroom. I think it's the glue from the tile is coming up, because right on the seams, there was a bunch of brown stuff, you know? And it was over mainly by the shower, and the tiles are loose there. And so, I mean, it's just a matter of time. And it's just, so if we were just to do the floor and the lockers, you know, I think we could survive pretty well. You know, you'd like to do everything else and do the floor last, but just because of our financial constraints, I think if we could do the lockers, do some with the lockers and the floor. The shower needs some attention, and I think I'm gonna get a price on that. The shower flooring, we can reuse. We can reuse the panels in the shower, but I think I'd like to get a company to come in and just pour over, not come in and grind and all, just pour, because we got room to raise that floor a little bit, and so everything slopes to the drains. And then we do need, in the men's, they do need the urinal stall panels. They're rusting. They're nasty. So, anyway.
Well, my thought in this is not to go back with that, maybe come back with like a powder coat or something that would resist that.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have this problem again.
Yeah, yeah, we did a big remodel up at where I came from, and that's what we did. We got rid of that metal stuff and put in that, it's a composite, you know,
Yeah.
it's what the showers are made out of. It's that kind of a heavy fiberglass composite.
Yeah.
And it resists, and those, because they're in good shape. I don't know how long they've been there, but they're in nice shape.
They have been there, we redid those in 2016, I believe, 2017.
Oh, yeah, so 7, 8 years,
Yeah.
yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have to replace them. And that stuff's kind of spendy. Now, I don't know how it is on the women's side, on the
I don't ever shower there.
I don't either.
or the bathroom part,
Gross.
you know.
I'll have Jennifer go in the morning and check it out.
Check it
Give me a
out,
report.
yeah. So anyway, take
be
some
there.
time and look all that over, and so you know what I could have taken some pictures and done a dog and pony show, I suppose, but I think that's kind of the one area that's starting to get a little tacky.
You do have quite a few people that get, I mean, I know on the ladies' side, shower and get ready
Oh,
to
yeah,
go to work.
yeah, it gets a lot of use, it really does, yeah, so, anyway, just food for thought. So I think that's probably the next project outside of the HVAC that we ought
Yeah.
to do something with.
HVAC's a bad word.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. 4-letter word, bad 4-letter word. That's all I got.
All
Anything
right.
else?
Any questions for Mr. Moore?
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
sounds good. Thank you all.
All right, item 6, unforeseen business. Seeing none, item number 7, adjourn. We'll take a motion.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion by Cook, second by Dobson, all in favor? We're done.
Bye.
Okay.
Record turn.